Very much. And back to politics and a warning from House Speaker John Boehner over the White House's contraception controversy. Earlier today on the House floor, Boehner threatened congressional action, saying the government has dangerously gone beyond its constitutional boundaries.
This attack by the federal government on religious freedom in our country must not stand and will not stand. If the President does not reverse the Department's attack on religious freedom, then the Congress, acting on behalf of the American people and the Constitution that we're sworn to uphold and defend, must.
Now, despite the backlash we've talked about for a few days now from conservatives and some religious leaders, one group of voters is very happy with the decision to mandate religiously affiliated institutions to cover birth control. Women's rights groups are those who are most pleased right now. Joining me now is Ambreen Ali, who us.
Thanks, Tamron.
And you pointed out a number of organizations, from Planned Parenthood, who we well know has been in the headlines a lot in the past few weeks, as well as Emily's List, have sent out statements saying that they support this move. Does this counter the backlash from some Catholic leaders?
That's right. The battle lines have really been drawn in this case, and the Catholic leaders as well as Speaker Boehner, the Republican presidential candidates, are really trying to make this an issue about religious freedom. But that's really rallied the left, and particularly women's rights groups, women voters, to kind of push back and defend the president on this stance. Let's take it back to what the policy actually does. It requires that universities, hospitals, nonprofits that are basically run by religious organizations provide their employees subsidized birth control like all other companies will be required to do. And the argument is that a Catholic university, for example, has many non-Catholics working for it. And so those people should be entitled to the same access to contraceptives that other women working at other corporations get. And I think that this is a position that actually makes the president pretty strong with women voters. And as you know, there are more women in this country than there are men. And I think that in the end, this is actually a strong position for the president to hold going into the election.
Well, we know there are more women than there are men, but we also know that the Catholic vote is important to the president. I believe it's the last 9 out of 10 elections that we've seen where the president has won with the help of Catholic voters. So I guess my initial question is, does this somehow negate the other? Does this give a balance here? One very strong group supporting and another very strong group obviously upset.
Yeah, I would argue that it does more than that, actually, because the president was pro-choice in 2008 when he ran for the presidency, and Catholics supported him. And this isn't even about abortion. It's about birth control, which is not even as contentious politically. And there are statistics out there that show that 98% of Catholic women who are sexually active have used a contraceptive at some point. So while the bishops and the leaders of the Catholic Church might be upset about this, it seems like Catholic women are really on the same page as most women in this country. And that's that birth control is pretty commonly used.
One of the things that has been noted, Ambreen, is that the Catholic leaders are very organized. They've been very vocal and getting their message out that they are angry, upset. You go on YouTube, you see it everywhere, and they've been mentioning it as well to the parishioners. Are these women's groups as organized? I know that I've seen a few tweets, for example, from Emily's List. Are they getting the other message out as effectively?
They're starting to. I would say that I think the bishops are really on the offense on this. They've done a good job of building a coalition. They've got the National Association of Evangelicals and other kind of influential non-Catholic groups involved. You've got House Republicans, Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich on the campaign trail, all of them really pushing this as a religious freedom issue. And that's how they can really get at the administration, by saying this aspect of Obama's health care law is bad for faith-based groups. And now you see the women's rights groups are kind of trying to fight back against that narrative and really trying to own it. There's a group of Catholic and other religious groups that came out in defense of the policy today as well. So you're starting to see that pushback, and I think you'll see more of it. But certainly both sides are taking kind of serious activism around this issue.
All right, Ambreen, thank you very much. Great report that you have. Thank you. And up next,